So when you look at these 5 pieces, is there anything you see? Or would you just say, those are plain, just plain old somethings. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to take these awesome blank palettes, these plain Jane pieces, and make them into stunning home decor. And yes, even an old aged little loaf pan. Hi friends and fellow crafters and DIYers, welcome to the channel. My name is Yvonne. If you are new here, I love to take secondhand finds and share the process of how I make these items over. And sometimes the transformation is just taking a plain Jane item and putting decor together and maybe a little bit of paint here and there and just making some beautiful home decor. I really think that this basket is older than one would think. There's just a feeling, there's a touch of it all. It is so smooth. You can tell that it's been well loved. I love that the nails on it have bled and aged the wood even more. It is an amazing little basket. So we need to give this a second life so somebody will love it just as much as I did when I saw it. My vision for this piece is a little centerpiece with swans. Yes, there is just something about swans. Now, these 2 swans were bought separately. They don't really, but can I make them so they go more together and that it could be a little centerpiece in this little basket? Oh, I hope so. So by adding some of this thrifted greenery, I think I can really make it pop. I love that color of the flowers, though I think when I think of swans, I think of them being a little bit whiter. And I think my florals are a little bit brighter than what these swans are. So we are going to go ahead and give them a new coat of paint. But they both have glass eyes, so to protect those eyes, I'm just going to put a little dab of Vaseline on it. That'll just protect that little glass eye, so when I'm done painting, I'll be able to wipe it right off. So to whiten up my swans, I'm just going to be using some of the Fusion's Victorian lace. I love the white of this. I love that it has a primer, a paint, and a top coat all in one. And I'm just using a fan brush to apply it. I need to go gingerly. I don't want to have to repaint the beaks. So I just want to have something that just puts a nice fresh coat of paint. And of course, it'll take 2 coats to cover these back up, but I already love it as soon as I touched it with the white that I thought, okay, yes, this is what those swans needed to be. That my 2 coats of paint are dry, I'm going to go ahead and take just a wet wipe and wipe that Vaseline right off the eye. Very easy to do. It's a nice little barrier when you don't want to have something that's painted. And then to tie these in with the basket, I'm going to go ahead and sand them. I'm going to let a little bit of that underneath color, which was kind of like a tannish cream going on there. I want a hopefully, yep, it'll show through and that'll really tie it into that basket. I don't necessarily have to do this step, but since I sanded them and I distressed them, I want to give them a little bit of extra sealer with some of the Varathane clear wax just to give them that nice smooth touch. So now I'm going to go ahead and add them to the basket. Now the basket is rounded, so they don't necessarily sit, they kind of sway, they sit kind of lopsided, especially the smaller one needs to be rised up a little bit. So I have these blocks of wood that I'm just going to add underneath them, and that'll stop them from rocking back and forth. And it doesn't matter because the greenery is going to hide it. So that green of this stem is just really going to make those swans pop. That nice, neutral, gorgeous wooden basket just needs a little bit of pop of color, and that greenery will do it. So all I'm doing now is just cutting from the one stem. I'm cutting each individual stems off so I can arrange the stems around the swans. And now I have this new aged tobacco basket. So nothing terribly special. The color's okay. I don't think it's showing up as golden, as you can see the golden more from the back than you can from the front. So I am going to dry brush it a little bit and see if I can just give it a little bit more character. So I'm going to start off with the Fusions Victorian lace again. And like I said, I'm going to dry brush it. So that's where you just dip your brush in ever so slightly, wipe a lot of the paint off before touching the item that you want to paint, and then just with a gentle hand, a gentle brush stroke, going one way first and then I'll go the other way, just letting it very gingerly just hit that, just popping and hitting the side of the wood, and it's already transforming it and adding a little bit more character. So now I need to add a hanging system, but I want to find the flat spot of this back. I don't want to put it up too high, and on the rounding part that when you hang it on the wall, it sticks out. I want to hang it onto the flat spot. So what I'm doing here is luckily I'm centering it, and it's landing on where it is doubled up, where the weaving is doubled up, and so the screw won't go all the way through. But it'll be nice and secure because it'll be going through 2 layers. So now my idea for this basket was this rusty rooster that I had. I kind of felt like he has some little feety on him that would weave in between the basket weaving and it would sit flat. It's, the part of decor is finding the right size pieces to go in. And now that I painted it, it's not the same color. The basket's not the same color as the rooster. But as always, I have to play here and there and try to figure out what pieces really do the rooster and the basket justice. So sometimes you put a piece in, sometimes you take a piece out, just trying to figure out what is going to make this pop. And I like the pip berries. I like that light shade that it's bringing in. It's playing with the white, it's playing with the rooster. So for this piece, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it on. But I do feel like I need a pop of something, a little bit brighter color, though they might be a little bit too bright. I bought these tags at a local antique mall. Lady prints them off. She does some beautiful work. I think you can actually order vintage ones or reproductions just like I did off of Etsy for download, or they can send them to them. But I love that little bit lighter color behind the rooster. I tried a few different things on the side, and then I never loved it. They were always too big. So all the items I tried, so I'm like, sometimes the rooster chicken, the chicken is going to stand alone. I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue this tag into place. Should be pretty simple. If I would have noticed that there was two stuck together. So I had the chicken and the sheep. Apparently, I'm like, oh, shooty shoot, we're stuck together. Okay, retake number 2. So now I've got the chicken tag. They were thin enough, I couldn't tell. So we got this getting glued on there now. So then I did get a little bit of the hot glue on the front of the chicken in the heyday of trying to do 2 together. Mistake, things happen, y'all. So, and it was okay because I wanted to age the tag a little bit with some of my watered down antiquing glaze, because I felt like it was just too much of a pop of color. I wanted something more on this piece, but I just needed to add some color to it. So what would be your first idea for a rusty, crusty, aged bread pan? Well, my idea is to sit it on its side. Not to fill her up, but to sit it on its side and make it a little sitting shelf. I won't drill holes in it to make it hang on the wall. But I love that rusty crustiness, and I want you to be able to see it. So what do I have in my stash of stashes that I can add in there and that will do it justice? Right here, I have another rooster and a chicken. Though the rooster's little beak has been broken just a little bit, not completely off, I'm not going to fix it. It's that perfectly imperfect to go with the rusty crusty of the metal. And then I do have this newer pipberry wreath. It doesn't matter that it's not a stem or a spray. It has rusty crusty stars on it, and it'll be a great backdrop for these two. So this is so simple. Just a pear that I picked up, some pipberries, and I just think it quickly adding 4 items together just made this stunning decor piece that your eye would just be drawn to in anybody's home. So now I have quickly become obsessed when I find cheese boxes. And actually, Chris found this one. It did have a lid, but I'm not doing the lid today. I'm just going to be doing the cheese box. I love the color of it. You could age it with some of that watered down antiquing wax, but my idea is reversed. I want to add some dark features in this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I need to add a hanging system to it, and I want to make sure that you can see the banding, the nails from the side. So instead of having the slats one way, I'm going to have them the other way because I want you to be able to see the stamping and the wording from the side of this. So I'm just using a small ruler so I have something to know that I'm going to center my hanging system. It's nice to add a hanging system, but also it's nice to have your hanging system be level and centered. So I'm just using some aged wire that I get at the hardware store. I want to make it that it's nice and tight, just a little bit of give that when you hang it on the screw, the nail, or the hook, that it will hang securely. And then I'll clip off the excess. I might have a little too much, but it's easier to work with a little than not have enough to pull it through. And then I'll just twist the ends of the wire that the ends are now bigger than what the hole is, and it should keep it easily in place. So we're going to be setting decor in this. We want to make sure that it's laying against that wall nice and flat. So I'm starting off with an aged, look at that beautiful color of smaller grapevine wreath. I love that it has some sprays going off to the side because it will fill it all in. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this on towards the upper part. Now it's time to start matching up my colors, seeing what I have. I am so happy to get to use this spool. It goes with the grapevine wreath. It's large enough or small enough that it fits on this as a shelf. I have these awesome shoe forms, a small little mouse. It's just a happy little place when you get to use all your little decor pieces. So now with it being rounded, you really have to choose your placement wisely because you don't have a flat shelf to work with, so you have to wait for your items to be weighted enough that they will settle all together without making it look like you just piled a whole bunch of stuff in the bottom of a cheese box. So then for a variation, I have these other stamps that I picked up, and I think that is a nice color. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a couple bobbins that have some wire to go in with the bobbin in the middle. Spool, bobbin, you know what I'm talking about, y'all. But I do need something coming out of that center bobbin. I do need a pop of some lighter color to go with that cute little mouse. So I have this spray. It was a stem, but then I cut it apart, pieces and parts of a pipberry stem. It's kind of creamish in color. I can flare it out. It'll really fill in that top area, and it'll give it that little bit of pop that this needed. So now my last piece is a cloche with a wooden base. So how do you all style them up? I know that I have done bird's nest, and I have done like little lavender plants, succulents, little birdies on a pedestal. But I thought, let's change in pace. I have a lot of aged items that I would love to display, but they just sit in a drawer, and I need to get them out so the world can see them. So these old dominoes are one of them. They're just not even enough to play a game with, but they have some beautiful patina, and the dots match the wooden base perfectly. This old jar with a rusty metal on it is perfect to add them into. So I have this aged heavy little placement, like you would do a place card with it, a old bingo card, which the color of the bingo card matches the dots of the dominoes. And then I have a large wooden domino that I picked up that, yet again, it wasn't a complete set, just random. I think it's just a neat piece. So we got a little game thing going on. Didn't even mean to do that. But I need to figure out how to get that to stand up. So I had to go back to my hoard and see what I had. And I think my next piece is like a letter holder. I think it's a separator. I don't know. It was just a random piece at an estate sale. And I'm like, oh, this would be nice to like use for a picture or something like that to stand them up. So, yep, that piece fit in there. So I went ahead and took that off. Took that off the base of the bingo. It'll fit. But I just, yeah. You know, you got to play with it a little bit. You know, nothing ever just stays the first time, does it? So I'm loving that. I love the variance of height. I have an old playing card that didn't match anything that I got in an auction lot. It has a chicken on it. I thought, oh my gosh, that is so cute. Numbers to go with the bingo number. I have an aged dice that is just aged. It's aged and a little bitty chicken toy. So, oh my gosh. This little display, this little vignette, oh my heart. And then I couldn't help myself but to go into those vintage numbers that I just got. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hide my numbers. So I think I'm going to switch that and the bingo card around. And then, oh, this is just the cutest little display. I'm glad, actually, I saw this on a TikTok that Royce from Recycled Paper did, and I'm like, oh, I think I have that same stuff, Royce. I'm going to go ahead and copy you. So I love to give credit. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Yes, have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? Have I got you looking at all your littles? And when you see these things out and about and you're like, why don't I really have a place for that? How to put them all together? My thought process. I hope that, you know, it's a lot to get your thought process into a video. So I hope that I achieved that. I can't pass up littles. I just love rusty crusties. There's just something about that age, just that age that could tell a story of how an item has been around so long. So thank you so much for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you like anything to do with secondhand finds, making them over, putting them together, painting them up, make sure you hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video. And if you would like to see the behind the scenes of a YouTuber, I also have another channel along with my husband Chris of the journey of moving a business, buying a new home. So if you want to see that process of behind the scenes of a YouTuber's life, pop over to The Journey. It's down in the description box. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.